super windy once again, so try and bear with me. Every musician, every artist needs to overcome fear in order to pursue their passion. May that be in the area of songwriting or releasing your music, on sharing your music, marketing, performing it to other people. And one of the most common things that I see is that people try and get rid of fear. I believe that fundamentally that concept is flawed. You don't get rid of your fear. You develop other traits that allow you to surpass fear. Fear itself is not a bad thing. It only becomes a purely negative thing when we don't have the tools to counter that fear. And if you don't have any tools to move past it, well, then it will control you. And therefore, it's quite likely that you will chronically become afraid of fear itself, because you know that you don't have any tools to deal with it. It's very common for people to try and reason with themselves, try and logically explain how things are, and therefore try and reduce the fear that's present in them. Fear is there for a reason. Fear is an indicator. Fear is telling you that there's uncertainty and risk involved, and that you don't understand everything that's there. I've said this before, that we fear the things we do not understand. Of course, there are many things that you should be afraid of for a reason, even when you understand them, like being attacked by a bear or a pack of wolves. When it comes to our lives, when we try and move forward in our life and conquer our fears and achieve our dreams and aspirations and goals, we fear the tremendous amount of uncertainty that's involved, because there are no promises. No one's going to tell us, yeah, this is how it's going to go down, this is what is going to happen. So in essence, when it comes to following our dreams and achieving our goals, fear is a notification system letting us know that we're trying to wrestle and contend with something that in one way or the other is beyond our current self, or that we do not know for certain whether we are an equal match to what we're trying to undertake. So what is the solution if you don't want to be less afraid? What is the alternative? And the answer to that is a twofold answer. Firstly, you need to become braver, and you need more courage to start facing whatever is in front of you, regardless of whether you have guarantees of the outcome or not. And the second step is to get experience, to get hours under your belt, because that gives you surety in what you're doing. If you tackled something, if you started the process of wrestling with something, now you have some experience. Now you've actually done something. If you want guarantees, the closest thing you can have is confidence in yourself, and not just blind, stupid confidence, but actual knowledge of the fact that, yes, I can actually tackle this obstacle, and I can be a formidable opponent to it. And this brings us back to point number one, which is the bravery and the courage that you need to build in yourself, because it's very difficult to get in that experience. It's very difficult to get in those hours if you never take the leap and start doing. And it's a completely separate ability to have the willingness and the character to face things that are uncertain, things that are potentially dangerous or harmful, or things that have an uncertain outcome. And at its root, it's about nothing else then having the willingness to jump in, to try something out, garnering the ability and the skills to put yourself out there, to try something out, to grab the bull by the horns, even when you don't have a guarantee of the outcome. And if you want to build bravery and courage and those sort of characteristics, I think at the heart of that is the willingness to build yourself a hierarchy of importance. Because when things get tough and when you face difficult situations, you have to ask yourself, why would I put myself in harm's way? Why would I take a risk? And the answer is, well, you should have the answer to that. You should know why you should put yourself at risk and when you should put yourself at risk. And I don't know what your values are. I don't know what's important to you, but whatever your value system is, it's something that you should take into anything and everything you do, because otherwise it's not really a value system. It's just something you selectively choose to follow whenever you feel like it. So you need to know what's important to you and hold that close to yourself, so that when you face situations that are full of fear and doubt, now you have something to reference to, something that you've decided to be high on your list of importance. And hopefully make this list when you are feeling good. Make this list when things are good, because then you have the sufficient perspective to evaluate those things with a clear mind. And then when you eventually find yourself in a position where fear is strong and you need to provide some sort of an answer, now you have the tools you need to figure out whether you need to be brave and courageous. And it's simply a deep belief and a deep knowledge of the fact that now is a time and place where I want to act. That's the person I want to be, or that's the person, more importantly, who I wish to become. And then you simply act based on it. Of course, don't take stupid risks. You have to take your risks in a calculated fashion. They need to be smart risks, and risks that you know you can survive even if they go sideways. So don't let fear define who you are. Don't let it define and dictate the course of your life. Fear doesn't go anywhere by ignoring it. And the worst thing is, if you ignore it, it's only gonna grow bigger and stronger in the shadows. And I invite you not to do that, because there's really no reason to it. I know it's very difficult to build up the courage and the bravery to jump in and start doing. And it's difficult and it's painful, because change is always those things. It's always difficult and painful to some degree. But here's the thing. I promise you that if you wait and allow that fear to control you for extended periods of time, it's going to be far more painful in the long run. The pain is going to be bigger, and the duration that you're going to suffer it is going to be longer. So I don't want you to be in that sort of a position. And no matter what position you're in, it's always still better to confront it and start doing something about it. So fear is a notification system letting you know that, hey, something's wrong here. Something needs to be addressed. Something is uncertain. And I think if you garner that for long enough, then it can ultimately become your friend. And It's like a friend who visits you and tells you the truth, and you don't want to hear it, and it hurts, and it doesn't feel pleasant, but you know that that friend is right. It's that kind of a buddy. So you might not like it when they call you out, but they do it because they love you and they want the best for you. And that is what fear is. So don't ignore it. Don't try to be less afraid, because it will never happen. Fear only grows when you ignore it, when you choose to not confront it. And take small steps. You can be brave and courageous in a wide spectrum of ways. Choosing to be kind to someone else when you don't need to. Choosing to sacrifice here and there when you don't need to. If you know that you can bear it. That's courage. That's bravery. It doesn't need to be a huge hero moment. That's one thing that we've become so fixated about. We think that everything needs to be this huge, giant step, when in truth, it's equally as valuable to take 1,000 smaller steps, but still amount to similar kinds of accomplishments. So start taking small steps. And it doesn't matter what you're doing, as long as you can see that, yes, this concept actually works. When I jump in, when I try to do, I get a bit of experience and I get confidence and surety that I actually have the strength and the courage to face this obstacle, to actually tackle whatever I was so afraid of for such a long time. And the beauty about this is that it works so fast. Oftentimes the only thing you need is just a bit of confidence, a bit of surety, by your own definition, that you can tackle whatever is in front of you. The only way you're going to gain control over the fear is by knowing yourself, you yourself, no one else, that you can tackle whatever you're facing. It's not going to come from the outside. Don't wait for an old wise man to come to you and give you words of surety and comfort and confidence. That might help for a bit, but it's not going to last. The only thing that lasts is what you know to be true for yourself through your own experiences and through your own actions.